So now a lot of times I'll write down stuff for a topic and then sometimes I don't. This one I didn't want to because I get asked this all the time. Hey, I've been looking into this. Is it worth it? How much money am I going to make? How much this? How much that? And as you guys have known, I've done a video all about the variables and the this and the that. And do you have insurance? Do you have a bad driver record? Are you going to lease a van? Are you going to do this? Are you going to save up backup money? Are you going to do this? Are you going to go crazy calling logistics companies? Are you going to do cold calls? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? And then sometimes people I can tell are just like, so how do I find loans? After I'll be talking to them for hours and hours and days about these types of topics. But this is why I just wanted to freestyle this one. Is it worth starting your cargo van business? It's all up to you. It's up to your location. Like as you're doing this research, to me it was worth it. It depends on the person too. And I've talked about this before. If your only intention for this is to get away from that job you hate, I wouldn't do it. Because see, I did hate the job I was at, but like it had been building me for years that I wanted to have my own freedom of selecting when I go on vacation, selecting. So it was something that was like stirring inside me for a long time. But if your literally only objective is like, I want to be my own boss, but the reason I wanted to do this topic just off my head is because the main thing I've noticed with people is they just don't want to hustle like crazy. Like, instead, they just want the easy way out of just like, okay, how do I do it? How do I do it? And that's why I do make these videos to help people, to guide people. And also I'm in my state, Minnesota, and like everything is different. And I've helped a lot of people, and even people that I've helped with these opportunities of like, you know, they'll start doing them and then I'll hook them up with all this stuff and then they just go, yeah, well, I didn't want this run. I didn't want to do this. And then I'm just like, well, I mean, so then like, that's why too, like I love helping people and everyone has to find their own niche in this and how they like to do it. But the reason I wanted to make this just off my head is it worth starting your own business? It depends on your intentions and your hustle, because a lot of people's intentions I've noticed are just like, I hate my job. And then that's why I said too, I've said in videos like, save up then if you hate that job, save up to make yourself as financially free as you can when you start this. Less overhead, because I've noticed a lot of people are like, I hate my job. They'll be like, I'll be like, oh, and they'll be like, do you really, so you advise just like saving up money, having backup money, you know, sort of like I think most businesses do that. I don't know. I never really thought of starting my own business. It was always in the back of my head, but I just wanted to make this video. Yeah, I'm like, okay, if it's worth it to you, but if you're just doing it on a passionate, you know, decision, or like an emotional decision, like, and not just from like a standpoint of being analytical and doing research and having, you know, and being into budgeting and financing and being like, you know, actually like making a decision of, okay, I'm going to alter my entire life. I'm going to literally switch everything that I'm doing. I'm literally going to it's all going to follow me, because I feel like a lot of people make it off the decision of like, yeah, I don't like my job and I'm just going to go lease a van. And then they go, what's next? You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying like, I just wanted to do a video on like, because so many people say, is it worth it to start one? And I come up with all these questions. I go, well, what is your format? What is your plan? You know, and a lot of people are just like, you know, you can tell they're more like, oh, I didn't. They'll be like, plan, like, well, I was just going to, you know, lease a van and this and that. And I know a lot of YouTubers say that, but I mean, you know, and then a lot of those same people are like, I wanted to be my own boss, but now I'm driving for a company and it feels like I have a job, but I'm using my own property, even though that place does pay their insurance. And that's good. Like, that's not bad. Like, I never want people to think it's bad, but I'm saying people who say I wanted to be my own boss and I wanted to dictate my own schedule, and then a lot of times they'll jump into it and that ends up happening, and then they just feel defeated and they just are like, I didn't want this. I mean, I would have just kept my job. And then I always say, well, that's why I just give the advice on like, you know, if you really want it, it is worth it, but I would not have jumped into it if I didn't have the funds, because when I worked hard as hell, me and my wife both did, to get to the point where we're at. We both worked all the time before, and now she still works 1 day a week, but then she always takes care of the kids, the 4 kids. She literally cooks every night. She cleans. She She also got into dispatching. She's sitting on the load board. She does all the budgeting, all of it for the bills, the entire the business. Like, I would get into it if I had to, but what's funny is she's so good at it. She'd be like, okay, and this money goes here, this money. So that's why the reason I'm saying it too is like, you have to have a game plan. You have to be ready to literally do all of this. Like, it's not just like, and that's the thing. I see the appeal in a job though. That's why I tell people when they want to get into it, they're like, I hate my job, this and that. And I was like, well, if you hate your job so much, save up the money while you're at the job, because I've noticed that, like, I mean, really, though, it's not as stressful having a normal job. But now that 4 or 5 months into it, I think we're at 5 months into it, now it's not stressful at all. Like, there's still stressful things that happen just like any job or any business, but, like, it's just well worth it. Like, we just have taken 2 days off just because, or, you know, because we mainly like to run during the week, but there's times where we're like, yeah, we're not going to do any runs. And that's just such a good feeling to never feel like you just have to. Like, when we've had appointments, we're just like, yeah, we're not going to look for runs that day. But that's why I'm saying, like, a job is appealing that, like, yeah, you can just, you know, go to work and get paid. You know, I know the appeal of it. I mean, but now it's worth it now. But I remember when I first started, it was like, oh my God, I just left my job where I just went and made money and left. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying, like, if you hate your job, but like, that's why I bring that up a lot. So is it worth it? A lot of people say that over and over. Is it worth it? I'm at my job. I don't like it. I'm sick of, you know, having these bosses. They treat me like crap. And, you know, I want to be able to have that freedom of choice. But that's why I always say it is worth it if you go about it in the best way for yourself, the best way to make you have success. So is it worth it? I think so if you go about it the right way. But a lot of people, I feel like, make an emotional decision. Here, you want your pen? Emotional decision. So it is worth it if you want to take the time to budget, finance, make it to where you have as little bit of overhead as possible, and to make the decision in a rational way rather than in an emotional way. Because I was sick of my job because it was the same thing over and over again. Every job I went to, I was utilized so much to where it was literally like I was used because I was a hard worker, and I was sick of making money for someone else. And the years and years we saved, we didn't save to start our own business. We've been saving to invest in more property, and you know, we busted our ass. We've always grinded. Me and her have always had hardworking jobs. Nothing like, you know, it's not like we got no money from family in our life. We never got anything. So the reason I say all that is because that's when we were like, okay, it is worth it to become our own boss. So that's why I want to do this video. Is it worth it? Yes, to me, if you go about it in a way to not have overhead, to not have, you know, the payment, the this, the that. So get motivated, get to your goal, and get to what you want to do in life. And then when you're with your kids and you're with your family and you got your quality time, that makes it worth it. Because me and Luna, whenever we want, we go to parks. No one tells me when. I went to my daughter's conferences, which I used to miss because I worked all the time the other week, my older daughter. You know, I went to more of my older son's basketball games because I choose when I want to. So to me, it is worth it, but that beginning's a struggle. But I'm saying set yourself up for success. Do not set yourself up to fail by, you know, just jumping into it over emotions and not setting yourself up to not have, you know, to not be in debt. So many people are telling me how in debt they get to starting the business, which obviously we didn't want to throw all this money into it. It was like $17K total. But now it's been just, after 5 months, now it's slaying and we're doing great. Like, I'm not trying to, you know, no ego involved, but now we're doing great and making really good money. I can go out and work 3 days and make $1,200. I never could do that before. And yes, I am overnight and stuff, but, you know, and then I come home 4 days, sometimes even 5. You know, but generally it's 4 days out, 3 days in, and then sometimes Monday it doesn't roll around, so that's a 4th day. And that's what I mean. It's just, it's well worth it. But anyways, everyone, I hope everyone has a beautiful, blessed day. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification, or else Luna will come to your house and draw on your walls. Thanks for watching.